with Cheryl Gorman and Serena Colgan of Gorman Tax Service, talking about, first off, tax-related scams. We're hearing a lot about this. You want to fill us in on that?
Yes. So earlier this year, the IRS released a list of 12 scams, and they've called it the Dirty Dozen. Taxpayers can read a little bit more about that on the IRS website, but some of the new scams that are coming up during this pandemic, social media and text messages. So they're sending out text messages, and they could go to a young person, let's say, and the text might say, you have $1,300 for a stimulus payment, and there's a link to click. Well, of course, being a young person, you see you might have some money, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, so you click that, and that starts to get your information. Another thing they're really starting to do is social media. So they'll start watching your social media accounts, and if you don't have your privacy settings set properly, they can see things that you post, comments that you make on posts, and they'll start gathering that information and then send you a message on Facebook, for instance, that looks like it could be from a family member or a friend, and then of course you click the link and there we go. And you know, emails, that's happening too. So a couple of things that you could do to protect yourself from that. If you feel like, say you got a phone call, the IRS rarely ever calls you for anything, and they're definitely not going to ask you for iTunes gift cards or a Green Dot card.
Probably not.
No. So if you get a phone call like that and you're suspicious, hang up and call the IRS and see, you know, what that's about. You know, there's just things you can do. You could go to the IRS website and apply for an IP PIN. That's an identity protection PIN number. And then they'll send you that kind of towards the end of the year. And when you get that, you have to keep that, because that number is what makes you able to e-file. So if you go to your tax preparer with your stuff and your PIN's not in there, you can't e-file, which means then you have to paper file, and then that paper filing is put through like fraud scrutiny. So it takes longer. So
this is so interesting. I love that you're kind of keeping us abreast of some of these things, because we've all got some of these Facebook messages, and then, you know, people are getting these other text message, and it seems like, well, maybe there's something to it. I mean, maybe I better just click on it.
Right, and if you see it's from Grandma, you're like, oh, here's a message from Grandma. Let me see what she sent, and it's not from Grandma
It's
at all.
definitely not from Grandma.
Well, and I've actually gotten that myself, so.
Really?
Yes.
They've even done this to you? They're not very smart.
No,
they've tracked down the wrong person.
They really have.
One, then. Well, Cheryl, you wanted to talk to us about some special tax benefits as well.
I do. So typically, unless you are able to itemize on your tax return, you have more than the standard deduction, you're not going to be able to take charitable contributions. But in 2020, there was a special little thing added that you could take $300. That was the most. In 2021, that's been expanded to single person can have $300 charitable organization donation. But if you're married filing a joint return, then you get $600. It does have to be made in the form of cash, and it does have to be to a valid 501c3 not-for-profit organization. So folks, it doesn't count. And you give from your heart. It doesn't count if you're given to a GoFundMe or that type of situation. It does have to be to a legitimate 501c3 not-for-profit corporation. So save your receipts. Make sure that your tax person knows. I did give $250 to the church or the Red Cross or whatever organization that you've contributed to. Again, it does have to be cash. Don't let your tax person forget that for you, because it is an above-the-line deduction.
And save those receipts.
Yes,
that's for sure. Make sure that you turn those in. Okay, we always appreciate your information. I've learned so much from getting to know you, too, so I know that our viewers have as well.
We're happy to keep them informed.
Well, great. Keep coming on and doing that, then.
We appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.